A massive manhunt is underway in New York City this morning after the shooting of 2 more NYPD officers. Both are expected to survive. The shooting comes with police on high alert after the murders of 2 officers last month in Brooklyn.
2 suspects involved in the shooting that took place around 10:30 last night. Surveillance video shows the moment the officers came up against the suspect's gunfire.
As they approached the individual, one male was outside, one went inside. They approached the male outside when the male inside began firing at the officers through the doorway.
That deadly shooting at a veterans medical clinic at Fort Bliss in Texas is under investigation. This morning, the gunman killed 1 person before officials say he shot and killed himself.
It was a busy afternoon at the Veterans Affairs Clinic at Fort Bliss in El Paso when reports of an active shooter came in at about 3 o'clock. The VA ordered everyone to shelter in place while authorities searched for the gunman. The suspect shot and killed 1 person before turning the gun on himself.
Colorado Springs, Colorado. The FBI is actively investigating an explosion outside the local NAACP chapter. Bomb squad members combed the scene after an explosive device detonated against the building.
Well, this year's flu season has reached record-breaking levels. Nationwide, at least 21 children have died so far.
So many people are getting sick with the flu this year that nationwide CDC officials are declaring it an epidemic.
Local hospitals are suing Multicare because of mandatory flu shots with the risk of losing their jobs if they don't comply.
Multicare is taking it one step further, requiring every employee to get a flu shot or make a plea to a special committee as to why they shouldn't. The nurses union says failure to do so could mean termination.
And some nurses have been forced to take the flu vaccine even though they have religious or personal objection because they're afraid of losing their jobs. If they don't comply, they can be fired. And that's a completely different animal than we've seen in the past.
The Atlanta fire chief terminated after publishing a controversial book.
In it, he describes homosexuality as a perversion, vulgar, and inappropriate. According to a city council member, the chief then distributed the book to his staff. Cochran said, as a Christian, he is not apologetic for writing it.
And everything I wrote in the book is based on scripture. It's not opinionated.
Newsweek magazine's latest issue is it's a piece bashing the Bible. You can see the cover there. The cover declaring the Bible so misunderstood, it's a sin.
Big Brother invading more of your privacy. FBI setting up decoy cell phone towers able to scoop up your calls and your texts, claiming they don't need a search warrant to do so.
The FBI revealed that it has established cell phone towers so that when you have your cell phone in your pocket or your purse or on the front seat of your car and you're driving by, the towers lure the signal into government computers, and that enables the government to capture any conversation you have on the cell phone or any texts or email.
Wearable technology is once again all the rage at this year's Consumer Electronics Show.
It's giving people quicker access to information, including, probably most relevant right now, information about themselves that they didn't have.
The biggest concerns for everyone who uses technology right now is hacking. Some people say the key to staying secure may actually be getting rid of passwords and PIN codes.
We are working with all the major banks in the United States and overseas and many other companies to replace usernames and passwords. Now that transition, once that happens, you won't have to enter a username and a password and merge it to your biometrics.
Just like you see mobile payments are changing little by little, starting to use your fingerprint, this is a step in moving away from passwords. You've seen a lot of options. Fingerprint technology, Hector's app won you.
We have these cards that have RFID chips in them, like you mentioned, constantly broadcasting. In 2015, all cards are going to this, but not just credit cards, debit cards, driver's licenses, student IDs.
2014 is going down in history as the year with the highest level of persecution of Christians in modern times.
Hey, John, well, it is a very dangerous time to be a Christian. Torture, beheadings, destruction of property, all increasing, and that's according to the Christian watchdog group Open Doors USA, which released its annual World Watch List today. Although North Korea and its brutal imprisonment of Christians tops the list of 50 countries hostile to the faith, Islamic extremism remains the #1 threat.
The world is reacting tonight to a terrorist attack in one of the great world capitals that prompted an urgent manhunt and a frantic effort to identify 3 men. Today in Paris, in broad daylight, masked men entered the editorial offices of a satirical magazine.
Their target in the heart of Paris was the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo. Minutes later, more killing as police officers confront the gunman. One attacker walks to a wounded officer and shoots him point blank.
France is on its highest terror alert. More than 80,000 security forces have fanned out across the country. Officers blocked roads and searched houses in the Picardy region north of Paris. As darkness fell tonight, the hunt continued. Police are going through towns and villages across this entire area. They're on foot, they're going door to door looking for any possible hiding places.
France is reeling from bloody twin sieges in Paris and near the capital, which left 4 hostages dead and 4 others critically injured.
Helicopters flew overhead while snipers took positions on nearby rooftops.
It was a heart-stopping finale. An entire nation on edge, much of the world watching. 2 hostage standoffs and raids unfolding, just minutes but miles apart.
Here's the point. There's been a very serious push from the left saying, let's not over-militarize our cops. That should put an end to that discussion right now. We should over-militarize. We should continue to do that. One last thought. I'm sorry.
No,
after 9/11, I was in the building at 9/11. Right after 9/11, there was the New York City cops. What they did was they did these shows of force. Heavily armed cops would walk around buildings. They'd show up anywhere. 12 cop cars would line up. They'd get out with the full body gear, with the machine guns, ready just to show the bad guys they're there. That's kind of gone away. Maybe it's time to bring it back.
You want
it's
to live
not
in a
intimidating.
police state, though?
No, I don't want to. It's not a police state.
Okay, but
It's a safe.
We begin in France with a massive national day of unity.
All those world leaders led by the president of France, by his longtime political rival as well. You see Angela Merkel, the German chancellor there. Others, we saw Benjamin Netanyahu, David Cameron, Mahmoud Abbas, all gathered in one place, all going to lead a very, very large crowd.
This is an unprecedented moment, Steve. We're hearing more than 1 million people.
Dozens of world leaders expected here today, including the German Chancellor, Prime Ministers of Italy, Turkey, Israel, Jordan's King and Queen, Spain is here.
Well, one thing we learned early on about Pope Francis, meanwhile, is the new boss is definitely not the same as the old boss. Next year, the pontiff's focus will be unchanged, not his own, but climate change.
A new blast of Arctic air has temperatures plummeting across a big portion of the country. It is 30 below zero in Riverton, Wyoming, and a snowstorm in the southwest dusting Las Vegas and blanketing parts of California.
The snow fell so fast in Southern California, more than 200 motorists became stranded on winding mountain roads overnight. By morning, the storm had dumped more than 6 inches of snow in low-lying valleys, breaking a snowfall record set in the 1800s.
Never see this in my life, so it's a lot of snow.
You mentioned Catalina. That's where a fierce windstorm turned deadly. The high winds and choppy water slammed boats ashore in Avalon Harbor.
One witness described it as like a witch's cauldron, with the wind whipping up from all directions. Another, a man who's lived in the island for 45 years, says he's never seen anything like it. Boats ripped from their moorings.
A massive bushfire in South Australia has destroyed homes and is putting people's lives in danger. The fire is out of control on several fronts and threatening the outskirts of Adelaide. With conditions described as the worst since 1983, there are fears that further wind changes could accelerate the fire. Smoke from the affected area northeast of the city can be seen from far away.
Here in the United States, though, a massive Arctic front is plunging much of this country into a deep freeze today. Temperatures are below zero in several northern states.
Iced over roads Tuesday, causing hundreds of accidents. An invasion of Arctic air could send temperatures plummeting to 25 degrees below in parts of the Midwest. In Iowa, the deep freeze may have played a role in this water main break, crumbling this road and opening an 8-foot crater.
Fierce waves crashing off Muskegon Harbor left the 48-foot high lighthouse covered in ice. Look at that.
A blanketing, ferocious band of snow, lake effect snow in Michigan, so powerful it reduced visibility to zero and led to a deadly pileup of well over 100 vehicles on the interstate I-94.
A stretch of Michigan interstate looked and sounded more like a combat zone. A winter whiteout, causing a massive pileup, shutting down a section of the I-94 in both directions, killing 1, injuring 22. Police say 123 vehicles, 65 of them semi-trucks, slammed into one another. Some burst into flames. Another fatality and injuries reported in this 50-car pileup just outside Ann Arbor.
To New Zealand now, where the South Island was rocked this morning by a series of strong earthquakes. The most severe tremor measured 6.4 in magnitude, the second biggest since the devastating 2011 quake.
Reported on those earthquakes in Texas, felt in and around Dallas. Well, tonight word of yet another one. Now 11 earthquakes in just the last 24 hours. And of course, the new concern over what's causing this.
Yep, we're having an earthquake. You think California, Japan, maybe Mexico, but Texas?
Did we just have an earthquake? Yes, ma'am, I believe we did.
In the last 24 hours, nearly a dozen small quakes clustered near the town of Irving, leaving Texas-sized cracks.
This video footage captured in Israel shows a woman struggling to walk down a street in a central Israeli city. This storm caused power outages that left tens of thousands cut off from electricity and heating.
One of the volcanoes in Mexico spewed out huge clouds of fiery ash at night, showing signs of increased activity.
Desde meteoro, nave espacial, cometa, OVNI, até avião pegando fogo. O avião caindo,
Well, it's kind of obvious, really, isn't it? One of the preeminent targets in a lot of Islamic terror in Europe have been Jewish targets. But over the last 10 years, they have been leaving or hedging for their own security and moving assets and indeed their families very often to Israel, which has seen a surge in Jewish immigration to